but he's calling it a career. Old. Detroit and Memphis. So
was a time before all the knee stuff where he looked like a superstar in the making.
Yeah, he was really good. It seems like it's been a while since he's played a season for sure. So he was a talented guy, but just couldn't stay healthy.
That's one that leaves you with a lot of regret, I'm sure.
Yep.
Well, UNLV also in college football and Air Force have passed on the Pac-12 and the American Athletic Conference. They're expected to remain in the Mountain West. So official.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of a stay of execution for the Mountain West. Am I right? You've got to have 8 teams in a league to be certified by the National Association of High Schools or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're
You got to have 8. So the Pac-12, which was down to 2, and right now is the Pac-7, they've got to
find
get
somebody.
They got to find somebody.
Yep. That's kind of crazy.
Maybe
though.
North Dakota.
I don't know. I mean, is North Dakota State and South Dakota State for sure going? I mean,
no.
I think they got invited though.
Were they really?
I think so.
Well,
I'm not
that's
sure.
That's probably what's going to happen.
I think they got invited, but I don't know if they're. I hadn't heard anything and see if they're going.
Well, that would be if both of them. That'd be 9.
Right.
Do they want to have an even number? Do you want to get to 10? I think is the next question. I don't think it matters. You got to have at least 8.
Talking about that though, guys, like, do they stay the Pac-12? I mean, does that become the other power conference again, or?
I don't think.
No,
it
will never be another power conference.
I don't think it's got enough juice, and to be honest, I don't think it's got enough juice to get the kind of serious money from the networks that they're going to want.
Right.
I mean, it feels like, and I don't mean this as a total cut, CBS Sports Network League.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is pretty much what it has been.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me that they're going out and getting all these schools. But I was thinking that yesterday. I'm like, are they going to be the same power? Is it going to, recreate the Power 5 conference with them doing all this? I'm not sure. I don't see how that goes.
I mean, it could be a good conference. It would be that 5th best conference probably, especially if North Dakota State. If you add them.
It's a better basketball league. Ave Maria being issued any invitations?
No, not yet. Not that I know of.
Ave Maria. Where is that, Billy?
It's in Naples, Florida.
And that's where you went to school?
Yep.
Wow.
And this setting looks a little like Naples. Go back to yours. For those who are watching by way of podcast, look at Billy's backdrop. Does that not look like Scott Van Pelt at the U.S. Open or Copacabana? Yeah.
Were you the youngest guy in your class? It was in Naples, Florida. So were you the youngest guy in there? Were there old people in your classes?
We had some, but not old people.
We're not going where I think you want to go because the discussion before we got on the air is simply unairable.
Yeah, I agree. But who in the world? Like, I've never
Funny,
heard of that
but
school.
unairable.
What are they? They're not even. They're below NAIA. Do they even have?
They're NAIA. They're in the Sun Conference with Southeastern, Kaiser. It's a pretty good conference.
Okay,
some
Southeastern.
Good
I've heard of that in
Southwest
Orlando.
Florida.
Kaiser Permanente. No, not the same one.
No, it's not registering.
Sorry. That's a company.
Anyway, the President's Cup is going on.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping up with it much. Are you, Kelly? I thought
I have not. I've seen it on the Golf Channel. It's the United States, and it's not the European team, but it's everybody else. So,
right,
the Canadians.
So it's sort of the Ryder Cup light.
Well, it's Ryder Cup like, but it's not.
No, I said Ryder Cup light.
Yes, it is very Ryder Cup light. That's for sure.
Yeah.
U.S. versus
everybody else other than Europe.
So
why isn't Europe?
Because Europe is the Ryder Cup.
That's
that's the Ryder Cup. So it's a PGA Tour and the Ryder Cup.
So all of them have ganged up on the filthy Americans.
That's right.
I want to throw this out. Did y'all watch any of the Caitlin Clark Fever game last night?
I did not.
They lost 2-0. It's best of 3. Those series in the WNBA. They ended up losing, but
I'm just right now, I'm spending a lot of time on the phones looking for a starting pitcher.
George, you got to turn the page, man. They're going to do what they're going to do. Brian Snitker's got it, Hoss.
Oh, Brian Snitker is a rock star.
Yeah, he's got it. Let him do his job.
Listen, if Friday night gets rained out and they have to play a doubleheader on Saturday, the happiest person going will be Poggi. Because it's such a, for either the Mets or the Braves, it is such a competitive disadvantage what this hurricane has created. Now, that said, I need to get a grip because there's a lot more serious issues about this hurricane than, whether my team starts Grant Holmes or forfeits or whatever.
You know what this feels like out here? Because it feels awesome,
it's
out
awesome.
here. This is the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Wow. We got Paul Goodlow sitting with us today. I mean, George knows who he is. He sits home like an old person and watches the Weather Channel.
Listen, they're some of my best friends.
All right, that's what I got.
Hold on, Jim Cantori's calling in. Okay, we're going to go to the break. When we come back, our buddy and former Alabama Crimson Tide wide receiver Mac Hereford will join us. We'll sort of get the Alabama position on this big showdown Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Got a lot more coming from the Copacabana out at the Hermitage Golf Course. You're listening and watching The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
We are back, and we welcome you out to the Hermitage Golf Course, where the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame is holding its annual golf tournament. This guy, Kelly Holcomb, was inducted several years ago and is playing in the tournament. But enough of that for now. Most of you know this Alabama-Georgia game is the first of what I think will be about 5 college football games of the year, because they're stacked up where you can kind of see it. Anyway, this first one, we got the Georgia perspective yesterday from Palmer Toms, and now let's get a little Alabama feel to it. Former Alabama wide receiver Mac Hereford joining us from his palatial mansion. Kelly, notice he's got the little shrine back there.
Oh, he always got it up. He's got his shirts, his jerseys, shirts from other guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little, let's be honest, it's a little over the top.
Next time Matt comes on with him, I'm going to give him one of my jerseys so he can put up there. How about that? Would he go for that?
I don't think he wants it.
I would be absolutely honored.
Oh, stop
that!
it,
That
Matt.
is such a lie.
That's such a
No,
So what
serious.
would you give him?
Kelly, you give me a jersey, sign it. It'll be up on this wall.
What? Okay, which one would you give him, though? I mean, there are a lot of options.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like me with radio stations.
We're going to go there, George. Yeah, I guess there is a lot of options. People remember me from the Browns and the Bills, but that's pretty much it. So
Not the Ryan Fire or the Claymores?
I wasn't with the Ryan Fire.
Okay.
I was with the Barcelona Dragons. You've seen I can give him a Barcelona Dragons shirt.
Yeah.
But it's the only one I've got, so I probably need to keep that one.
But back to the issues of the day. Mac, it feels like from 4 hours away from Tuscaloosa that the moving in of a new coach has been as seamless as it could have humanly possibly been up till now. But you see it closer. Is that true?
I mean, if you look at the way we've been playing and you look at the game so far, it looks seamless. It looks like there was no better man for the job. But when you really get into it, they're clearly different coaches. You know, you have Nick Saban, who obviously was just out-prepared, outworked everybody. We'd practice more than almost any other team, and I think they were leaning towards the end of maybe giving us a little bit more rest. But you take DeBoer, our new head coach at the University of Alabama, and they have a new system that's, there's a lot of fun. It's not all fun, but there's more. You can see there's more fun, whether it's around the media, the players getting to do more things that we weren't allowed to do when we were there, but also just in the way they're practicing differently, they're weightlifting differently. And then you have, now we're looking at this matchup, or we're looking at it a little bit more because you have a Georgia team that is really built from Kirby Smart, who, was under Saban, and a lot of that Saban model, which is a gritty team that's going to be, coming in pissed off against this Alabama team this weekend.
So DeBoer, as we saw Washington in the national spotlight a year, came off looking like a brilliant play caller. Isn't that going to be something that will be important Saturday night when he plays Georgia in that defense that he outthinks them?
So, you look, it's definitely going to, I couldn't hear a little bit of the end because it got a little bit of cut off, but 100%. The thing that I like to think about is you look at this Alabama team so far in this season, and a lot of it has been Ryan Williams, the Ryan Williams show, 17 years old. We've heard it 1,000 times. He's been making explosive plays. And when you look at the games that, we've had big offensive drives, a lot of it has come from explosive plays, which is fun. It's a really fun, program to watch right now. The only thing concerning is that, Georgia's going to come in there and they've got a defense that's, been incredible so far, who hasn't let up like many points at all. I don't even know if they've let like anyone in the end zone. And that Georgia defense it's going to be a matchup where they're going to have a guy who's knowing that Ryan Williams has been doing these kind of things to other teams. They're going to be, best believe they focused on it all week. They watched a ton of film, and they're going to be as prepared as possible to stop him. And then it goes down to, is DeBoer going to be able to have calls for the other guys? Kendrick Law, Bernard is going to be able to utilize them. Is Milroe going to be able to, deal with that pressure? If Georgia's able to stop our run game and makes us a little bit more one-dimensional, and then, we don't have those big explosive plays, it'll be fun to see if DeBoer is going to be able to craft up some things utilizing those other receivers that we haven't gotten to see as much this season. So it's going to be a big difference with that Georgia defense coming in, and definitely going to be important for DeBoer to be making some strategic calls, and hopefully we get to see that when Georgia comes out there, because they're going to come. They're coming.
Oh, they're coming. So is or a better fit for Jalen Milroe, or was Nick Saban better for Milroe?
I would love to answer that question, but there's only, I feel like, one man who can truly answer that question correctly, and that's Jalen Milroe. I think both coaches are obviously unbelievable coaches, and I could sit here and say, I think it would be better, it's better for him to be under DeBoer with the play calling and the strategy than Coach Saban, because DeBoer seems to have more of an offensive mind. But at the end of the day, I really don't know. I mean, it looks like Milroe's definitely having some fun this year, and it looks like he's made a lot of improvements so far. So it's leaning me towards thinking that DeBoer is a better fit for him. But there's a lot of other things that go into it, and a lot of other factors that, again, I think we would have to ask him.
Mac, I asked this. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked yesterday about the coaches, and I give Joel Klatt all. I was watching his show the other day, and he talked about it. But as a coach, Kalen DeBoer, Kirby Smart, which one's got the most pressure on them? Because Kirby Smart's he was 1-5 against his mentor Nick Saban, and I think everybody's expecting. Georgia is the favorite in this game. I think everybody's expecting Georgia just to keep rolling. They didn't play good 2 weeks ago against Kentucky. But who do you think has the more pressure on them, Kirby Smart or Kalen DeBoer?
It's a great question. I would say that probably Kirby Smart. You've got a guy who's established this Georgia program and has a huge statement to make here. You have a guy who just came into a new program, is having to deal with all these other things, and has done a seamlessly good job of having this Alabama team stay on top. If DeBoer, if he ends up losing this game and getting out coached, it's like, okay, that's Kirby Smart. He's been in the SEC for quite a time now, been under Coach Saban, has developed this program. And so I feel like he's the one with a lot more pressure. Like if you think about it after the game, I think on our side of it, on the Alabama side, DeBoer loses this game. None of us are going to be happy. Alabama fans and supporters are not going to be happy. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, it's a Georgia team coached by Kirby Smart, who's an incredible coach. And then if Georgia loses, it's like, holy cow, you just lost to the new guy. You lost to the new guys coming in with a new team. We have a ton of transfers on defense at Alabama, a ton of young guys on defense, still trying to figure things out. So to expect him to be able to come in and absolutely, for DeBoer to come in there and beat every single team, that's a little bit crazy. But for Kirby to beat this Alabama team is something that a lot of Georgia fans probably expect. And I think the pressure is definitely on him for this.
Jalen Milroe, seen some clips. I'm sure you've seen all the games, but I've seen some clips. Unbelievably talented guy. I thought last year he's really good at throwing the deep ball. Needed to work on his underneath stuff, check downs. He's an unbelievably talented guy running the football. What have you seen in him? Has he gotten better being in the pocket? Just what have you seen from him since last year?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. That's going to be the key, a huge key to the game that I think I've already spoke on a little bit, but is the fact, can Milroe have that mid-length passing game? Is it because he's got that great deep ball, like you mentioned? And I think we've seen bits and pieces of that, as well as just his maturity and comfortability in the pocket. He seems more comfortable this year. It didn't seem like he got rattled when we were, having a hard time with USF. He came out there in Wisconsin and blew everything out of the water. Like, he's definitely made some improvements, but I still don't know if I've seen enough to say he's improved on this a ton or this a lot as well. I think that this will be the game that we really get to see that. Will he be able to stay composed? Will he be able to lead his troops and have some of those check down passes, be able to make those decisions? Because this Georgia defense is going to try their best to take away those explosive plays. Like I said, they're going to make Alabama have to run the football. And if we can't run the football, we're going to have short, our short passing game is going to have to be stat. So I think he's improved overall. Like I said, I've watched the games, and I think that he's composed. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. He looks like he knows he's the guy this year, which sometimes last year I don't know if I felt that every single time. And this game will be the biggest game to see if he's improved on those things like I think he has.
So you being a former wide receiver, I know you talked about Ryan Williams earlier, but everybody was all upset about some of the guys they lost, especially the Isaiah Bond kid who went to Texas. And I don't think they've missed a beat with Ryan Williams. What do you foresee with him? I mean, being a receiver, kind of critique him, tell us what you see that's good. I mean, he's a young kid. He was in high school last year. So just what excites you about him?
I mean, the thing that excites me about him is what excites, I think, everybody is just his explosiveness, his speed, his ability to – it's crazy to me, and it's fascinating because, you take a guy like me, I didn't really play a lot through my career, but when I got opportunities or anything and stuff, it's tough. Like I wouldn't even think I was confident in my game at the college level until probably the end of my sophomore year. And I was a lot older than Ryan Williams. You're taking a 17-year-old who's been able to go from high school to the college level, not miss a beat, and still look like that guy that he was in high school in the college field. I played with guys like Trayvon Diggs, for example, was a guy I remember in high school. I actually got to play him in high school, and it looked like he was on a whole other playing field. When he came to Alabama, he still looked incredible. Don't get me wrong, but didn't come in like Ryan Williams did. And so just the fact that he's already playing the way he is, already being able to make certain catches, run routes the way he does and explode down the field is really unbelievable. And I can't wait to continue to see that. And again, this game is really going to be exciting because we've seen him do this against other teams, but now we're getting them to see him do this against a Georgia defense that's, better than any other defenses we've played this year.
So Mac, last year in the SEC championship game, it seemed like Alabama kind of controlled up front. Everybody knows that's where it starts in the trenches, and they kind of controlled it, and they ended up winning that game when nobody thought they would. If it pours down rain from this hurricane, who do you give the advantage to in this game?
That's tough. You're really killing me here with these questions today. I would say by the looks of it, Alabama right now. We made some changes at offensive line in that USF game, and then you see them in Wisconsin. The run game was incredible. Georgia defense has been great, but they haven't faced an O-line like the Alabama offensive line. And the running back room is stacked at Alabama and looking great this year as well. So I say it would give Alabama an advantage just because you look at the matchups, and it's Georgia's lost a lot of guys too. And Etienne, I think it's Etienne, who's their running back, has been great, and they have a good, I think, freshman running back as well. But I don't think their offensive line is as powerful as the Alabama offensive line. But it'll be a battle in the trenches for sure if that happens.
So Mike, this is my last question. Nick Saban, he's gone now. Doing a really good job on the air. He's always prepared, obviously, but his defense was really tough. I know for a fact. It was not hard. It was hard to learn from some of those guys, and a lot of times you would see guys running wide open downfield because they jacked up a coverage.
Lost a little bit what you said, Kelly. It was lost you a little bit, but see if you get to come back on.
Mac,
Billy, are you in there?
yeah, you're good to go ahead.
I couldn't hear anything they were saying.
Okay.
That's
okay. I'm good again. Okay, for the third time. Let's go. Hey, okay. So Coach Saban, his defense was pretty tough to learn, and they had all these checks, and if a guy went inside, this guy took him, a guy went outside, the other guy took him. So there was a lot of confusion sometimes, and that's why you would see guys wide open. It looks like since Kalen DeBoer and his defensive staff has gotten there, they kind of simplified things, and guys are not running wide open. Is that kind of what you're seeing?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. I think it's he's coming in year one with this new group of guys. Like I said, a lot of transfers on Alabama's defense and a lot of young guys. And I think what's the best way for them to be able to be successful? And you can't teach them the defense that Coach Saban usually taught them, although that's the best defense in college football, in my opinion. But I think I've seen them definitely simplify the defense, and it's made it easier for those guys to understand. And again, it's just going to be coming down to who wants it more. I think, like, overall, what I definitely want to say about the game, and I know this isn't answering that question, but I talked to George about this a little bit yesterday, is the fact that you look at these two teams and talk to Coach Cochran a little bit, who's been at both these programs, and he was interviewed about it. But you look at both of the teams, you look at Alabama this year without Coach Saban, they're playing a little bit differently. It's fun and it's exciting. But are these guys going to take it as serious as when Coach Saban was there and knew the pressure and, how big this game was? You look at Georgia just coming off of a close win with Kentucky. Hopefully these guys at Alabama weren't in the locker room thinking, hey, they just barely beat Kentucky. We're going to easily take these guys. Because I know over there at Georgia, Kirby's going to be doing the same thing Coach Saban would be doing, and that's going to be in that bye week. He definitely gave them an ass ripping, or sorry for my language, chewed them out, and has got those guys prepared. And so it's going to be interesting to see. I really hope. I think it's awesome that Alabama's an underdog at home, because I think the last time that happened was years ago, maybe 2007 or 2008 or something like that. But it's going to come down to who wants it more and who really cares, and what does this mean to the guys on either of the teams. And I just hope that the guys at Alabama are fully prepared and know that Georgia's really going to come in there and give them their best shot.
Mac, first of all, thank you for taking the time to come on. As I look in the background, I just don't see any room for Kelly's jersey. I think it would be relegated to the right of whatever that picture is off to the right. I just worry that there may not be a home for Kelly.
Look, I can find a home for Kelly's jersey. Okay. I don't know what he's shooting out there. I don't know what he's shooting on the golf course. I don't know. Hopefully he's shooting in the mid 70s, maybe high 80s. I don't know. Kelly, I would love to hear about your golf game.
No, not high 80s. If I go high 80s, I'm quitting.
That's better than me. But George, thank you for bringing that back up. Kelly, if I don't get a jersey by the end of the year, I'll pay for it. I'll do whatever it takes. I would love to have one of your jerseys in here, and then I can come on the show and it'll be propped up. Wait, that side. Propped up back there, or maybe we'll even take down the picture in the background and throw it up there. But I need one of your jerseys for sure.
And I'll send you a Braves hat. That's a baseball team.
I know who the Braves are. Okay.
Good. Hey,
I love
thank
the
you.
Braves.
Thank you for coming on with us.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, and looking forward to this game this weekend. Like I said, it's going to be super, super exciting. We're going to get to see a lot of the questions that Kelly, you asked, I think we'll have answers to following this game. Where Milrose improved, how he's been able to check down, how he's been able to throw the short game. And we'll get to see Alabama's new defense a little bit more simplified. We'll see how successful that is against this Georgia offense. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. And, maybe we'll come back on here and do a debrief after the game. Hopefully it's after an Alabama victory.
Let's do it. Mac, thank you as always.
Appreciate y'all.
Mac Hereford joining us, former Alabama wide receiver, joining us to talk the first of several games of the year in college football. We'll give you a few of our thoughts when we come back. You're listening to the Georgia on 95.9. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways. Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you need to contact Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you are a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. Check them out today at pancoastbenefits.com or call 615-292-3400.
Back we are on this Thursday afternoon. Kelly, I may be the one person that is bought into Kentucky exposed a couple of things about Georgia that I wonder long term if they can beat the rap on. When you look at Texas and Ohio State and Tennessee and Miami, to me, there's an explosiveness on offense that I'm not convinced Georgia has. And I wonder if Kentucky did expose a little of it.
Well, George, a lot of it has to do with Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey. Those guys are gone, and they were a lot of the offense last year. I think that Carson Beck was able to rely on those guys. He knew that he could get the ball to Brock Bowers anytime he needed to, and he would make a play. That guy was a wide receiver and a tight end body. Ladd McConkey, I think he was a former walk-on, but he was a really good playmaker. He got injured some, but when you've got a security blanket as a quarterback with those two guys, sometimes it's hard to get that same confidence with guys that you're playing with. I mean, we know that they go through the offseason together. They do all that. They lift weights. They watch film, but it's just different. And I felt like that game kind of showed that they're dearly missing those guys. Although you said it, Georgia, when it came time to win the game, Georgia won the game. And I never felt as you did. I don't know if everybody thought, doesn't matter what Kentucky does. Georgia's going to find a way to win the game, and
they got up 13-12 and said, "Oh, we're winning. Our defense will win it for us.
It'll win it." That's
and
right.
Kentucky probably also went into, oh, crap, what do we do now?
Yeah, we can't do it. They played really good. I think Kentucky played about as good as they could play. They played hard, though. That's the thing about it. They played hard. They were running to the football. They made plays. They kept Georgia's offense at bay, and I don't know. I don't know if those guys were just thinking ahead to the Alabama game. I don't think so, because I don't think you can do that in the SEC. I think Missouri found that out the other day against Vanderbilt, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. It looks to me, I was just talking to you, it looks to me like I don't know how much weather they're going to get in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. But on the game, how much can a coach like Kirby Smart do to kind of will his team to victory? Because Alabama has more talent and explosion offensively, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we know that. Now, defensively, Georgia is probably better. But can Georgia win a grinded-out game? Can Kirby just say, okay, we're going to slow this game down and beat Alabama? Well, that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. Because Alabama has more explosion, and the question is, can Georgia keep up? I'm really interested to see that, because first instinct, I think Alabama has the dudes to win it. But it's still, you have to go out there and do it against Kirby and Georgia, you know?
Well, George and I were talking about this the other day, and we've talked about this a lot on the show. Winning becomes a habit. And both these cultures, it's a culture thing. Kirby Smart's built that culture. He learned from Nick Saban.
No matter who they have.
You know, when Vanderbilt gets into a situation, it feels like that they got into the other day, they're over there saying, oh, gosh, the experience of this, man, what are we going to do? Are we going to win the game? And Alabama and Georgia go into a situation like that, and they say, hey, we've been here many times.
Yep.
There's going to be somebody, I don't know who it is, but somebody's going to step up and make a play, and we're going to win the game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how bad we're down. We're going to come back in this game. And that's a culture thing that Kirby has created at Georgia, just like Nick Saban had at Alabama. And Kalen DeBoer's kind of taken over, and I don't know if they're missing a beat. I think he's a really good football coach. I think all the UT fans are upset because I think they thought they were going to be down. I don't know. There's a lot of season left, but I think that guy was the right guy for the job. But these two programs are winners, and it's embedded in the culture for the years that Nick Saban was there, the years that Kirby Smart's there, and I know that all the fans are hoping that Kalen DeBoer keeps going.
When Texas went into Tuscaloosa a year ago and took charge, it felt like Texas was in control. They made big plays with Ewers. It was the first time that I've had to eat my words about Quinn Ewers, who I now realize. He lit them up. But I think he had more weapons than Beck has. And so I just don't see Georgia being able to line up and just grind out 15 plays, 80 yards running the football. You're not going to do that to Alabama.
That's their path, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But I'm not sure if the Kentucky game was who Georgia was, or it was just an anomaly that just happened one time.
They had one like that last year against Missouri.
and everybody's
not sure it's who Kentucky is either.
That's true. I mean, I think they played over their head. I don't know. But it's really interesting to see what's going to happen in this game. I'm excited to see it. I don't know if the weather's going to be involved, like I just said. It's hard to believe that Alabama for so many years has not been an underdog at their home, and they are. There's a lot of motivation for Georgia coming into this game because they took everything away from Georgia last year. Georgia had everything in front of them. All they had to do was win the SEC championship game, and they go and they're up for their third straight national championship. Alabama took it away from them, and they took it away from them in the trenches. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a lot of bulletin board stuff that Kirby Smart put up there this past week.
Carson Beck has a lot of pressure on him.
I think he does too, because I think he's at least one weapon short.
He may be. He may be.
And Humphreys is out with mono. That was a guy I was thinking could match up potentially on some deep balls for Georgia. He's not playing. Dominic Lovett is really their only receiving target. They've got Urasek, the kid from Stanford, who's a decent tight end. But no Bowers and McConkey. Who are your guys who are your deep threats?
Here's one thing I hope doesn't happen, because this is the early game of the year in college football. But
Yeah.
we got a weather deal where it feels like around the Southeast we're going to have a bunch of 11 a.m. starts that have 2 weather delays and end at 7:30. I hope this game doesn't have that, but it could.
It could, but I like I said, I'm looking on the radar, and of course, I'm not Paul Goodlow like yourself here. You know?
Of course not.
I understand that,
who
but
is?
it doesn't look like they're going to get much. They might get a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be like everybody in Atlanta. Atlanta's getting hammered.
Oh my God!
I mean, they've had rain for 24 hours. It looks like so. They're getting hammered, and I think that I asked Mac that. I think that helps Alabama. To be honest with you. I really do. If it pours down rain, I think it helps Alabama.
Why do you think it helps Alabama?
I just think it helps Alabama. I mean, they won the deal in the trenches. I think they've with Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, with the type of quarterback he is.
With the type of I mean, he's not. When it starts raining like that, Billy, I'm going to tell you, some guys can handle it. I was terrible at it, and if he gets if his confidence wavers a little bit in throwing the ball, he's got running the ball to rely on where I did not.
Right.
And Carson Beck's not a great runner. I mean, he's a pocket guy. I don't know if it's going to rain, but if it does, I think that's advantage for Alabama. I really do.
And I keep thinking Georgia, Kirby, they're not going to lose this game. They've got too much motivation. That's my first thought, but I keep looking at it. I'm like, all right, let me look at it realistically. On the field, who are the dudes on the field that are going to be matched up together? Alabama's got them. They've got – now, not by much, right? Georgia's still got a ton of talent, but – I just look at it, it's hard to pick against Alabama here.
You know, the Kalen DeBoer, too, is hitting – everybody was worried about the recruiting trail, and I was reading something yesterday. He's got – I think for next year, I think Ohio State's got the most I think they got the best recruiting class. I think Alabama's next, but Alabama's got 20 5-stars.
Right.
Which I don't really get into that 5-star stuff.
Where was 20. Temple?
I didn't see Temple on the list, George.
I didn't
see him on the list, but you know, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing in the recruiting aspect of it.
We'll go to the break, then we'll get you stat of the day that, to be honest, this week we have bombed. And then to start the 5 o'clock hour, we'll meet the executive director of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. We've got some past background. Brad Willis was my program director at 104.5. Want to hear all the exciting plans they've got? So stay tuned. We got a lot more coming. This is the George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you're having plumbing issues, there's only one guy to call. That's Adam Whitehead. As a third-generation plumber, Adam was born and raised right here in Bellevue. Customers praise his professionalism, efficiency, and personability. Adam is known for his prompt response to emergencies and for providing high-quality repairs at reasonable prices. His expertise extends to various plumbing issues, including sink leaks, dishwasher installations, and outdoor water issues. Call him at 615-485-1534. That's 615-485-1534.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
All right, coming up, Brad Willis from the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. But first, stat of the day brought to you by Adam Whitehead Plumbing here in Nashville. Give them a call, 615-485-1534.
We need to get one of these right. It's embarrassing.
Here we go.
The sports guy, George. I mean, you're the historian of the group.
Yeah, but it hadn't been working.
You've sucked.
All right.
You're right.
Aaron Judge and Juan Soto of the Yankees have homered in the same game 13 times this season. Only one Yankee duo has done this feat more times in history. Name that duo.
Okay, the obvious that you would think of first would be Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris.
Correct.
That seems too simple.
Yeah, but sometimes these answers are simple.
Right. So I'm sitting there wondering, is this a Jeter and somebody?
Alex
Jeter?
Rodriguez, Derek Jeter and Alex A-Rod?
Let's go with the first one.
I think you're right.
Let's one.
That indeed
If it
is.
It's George.
We
you
got one.
it.
Oh, it's a miracle.
You promise you didn't see it earlier?
No, of course I
No,
didn't
we
see
didn't.
it.
We didn't look
Okay.
at it. We didn't
Tell you
look
what,
at
though, in that deal, Roger Maris hit 61 that year, and Mickey Mantle hit 56. And, you know, that was a big home run chase at the time. And apparently, Roger Maris, who has since passed away, had real trouble handling the whole pressure thing.
Did he really?
So much so that he hair started falling out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Anyway.
How old was he?
I don't know. He went on to play with the Cardinals after that.
Okay.
Anyway, hour number one is done. We will meet up with the man running. Brad Willis, 5 o'clock. Stay with us. We welcome all of you into the 5 o'clock hour. As you can see in the background, no, it's not the Copacabana, but boy, it feels like it. Out at the Hermitage Golf Course, the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame is holding its annual golf tournament today. Thing in it, Kelly, I know you were repulsed earlier when you heard that this guy invited me to play.
A little bit, and I'm glad you're not playing. Hey, Brad, I just got to ask you a question. I told you I was going to ask you this.
Shouldn't we at least identify who he is?
Well, you already said
first?
it. Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Well, okay, all we said was Brad. He is the executive director of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. His biggest mistake allowing you in there. Brad Willis, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
how you doing?
It's so good to see you guys.
We have gone down memory lane off the air. Brad was once the program director at 104.5 The Zone, which led to Kelly asking a very unprofessional question.
Was George a jerk at 104.5 like he's a jerk with this?
Wow. That's a heck of a label.
I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, that's what I am. I'm honest.
I don't know that I'd ever label him as a jerk.
Ugh.
I tell
you
you
hadn't
what,
been around him long enough, Brad.
Handful, maybe that's a good one. No, I tell you, George and that group that first started 104.5 The Zone years ago, just what a phenomenal time that was. I still remember being in the hallway with all the salespeople. I wasn't even associated with the station when it flipped in 2003, but I remember being there, and I just remember the electricity of it because at the time, an FM station doing sports talk was pretty relatively unheard of.
Right.
And so, George and his guys had been, really kind of perfecting it, down the street. And so we were so excited that they had come over and joined us and what was getting ready to start. And so, it feels like a century ago.
I know.
But at the same time, I remember it vividly. I remember standing there and watching as Angie and the guys, went to the studio. And,
bless her heart.
she was actually in the room with them, screening calls. Or, we weren't even set up to have a talk studio at the time. So, it's just a great time and really blessed to get to work with George and everybody that came through that station. We were just talking before we came on. Just the salespeople were so, just talented, and the on-air staff grew and changed, and we went through so many different people. It was just it was a lot of fun. Good group to work with.
I said this at Paul Lyle's funeral. I believe it is the single best sales staff that has ever been assembled in Nashville radio.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a group that was better put together and just understood, they understood the market. And that was the thing that we talked about all the times. Like, people can come in from out of town, but Nashville's Nashville, and it always has been. And so people that understood Nashville really had a special connection with it, and George right at the top of that list. And so it was a special time for a lot of folks, really was.
When you had the opportunity to transition out of radio into this, what were the first thoughts that went through your mind? Because I think you have done, and I'm not trying to blow smoke, I think you've done a fabulous job of getting this brand out. And about.
I appreciate you saying that. And that was a goal. I mean, it was one of those things that when I came over and joined the organization, I came into it with a little bit of a radio mindset, right? Because I wanted to be visible. I wanted to be able to make, big splashes with our inductees and make sure that people understood. I'm a big believer that an induction into a Hall of Fame is really only as special as you make it. And so I wanted to make sure that when we announced people, they understood that we were happy to have them. We were excited that they were going to be part of this group. And, when you talk about the people who have come through the state of Tennessee, we talk all the time about the people who were born. I mean, you're a great example. Somebody was born in the state, played collegiately in the state, went on to do great things professionally. We have some people that we just have come in and they play professionally for a couple of years, but they make an impact. But the people who have really impacted this state and that have gone back into their communities and given back, I mean, that's a joy for us to be able to kind of spotlight and tell their stories. So when I was going, thinking about coming over, one of the things that stuck out to me was that, I'd spent the previous 15, 20 years of my life, as I would call it, sports adjacent. I was, making so many connections with, some of these leaders of teams and different things. I thought, we'll have the connections we need to kind of make some of these things happen. And so we've been really fortunate. We've got a great board of directors comprised of members from all across all three regions of the state. And so we've just tried to get after it and do as many things as we can and continue to kind of grow the brand. Yeah,
the visibility has increased. God only knows how many fold under you, but it certainly has. How did you find out you were going in?
Billy asked me that, and I've talked a lot on this show about how many times I've gotten knocked out. I don't remember, George.
No.
I really don't.
Oh, my God.
I think maybe Christmas Sorrow might have been the one that can contact me. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It might have been Coach Don. I don't know. I can't even remember. It's been
2013.
Which is kind of crazy. I mean, that was 11 years ago. It's hard to believe, and I'm glad Brad's back. He's gotten control of this organization because I would call Coach Donnelly and ask, have you heard anything from the Sports Hall of Fame? And he's like, no, I have not. And, I know that COVID had a huge effect.
It did.
And I know that this golf tournament has, was on and then it was off, and then now it's come back. So I'm just glad that we've got somebody that's here like yourself that reached out to me, and you got me through Chip, which is a good thing. But I'm just glad that I'm able to be a part of it again, because I didn't know who to call. I really didn't, and now I got a face, I got a number, and we're good.
You mentioned Coach Donnelly, obviously in the Hall of Fame. Yep. Chris Massaro on our board and has headed up our nomination committee for a long time. We've got really good roots in Murfreesboro with MTSU, and we've tried to kind of look at some things and say, maybe where are we underrepresented?
Right.
And so where can we continue to grow and make sure that we're recognizing folks. So it's it's an ongoing process, and we go through that every year where we try to make sure that we're honoring, the right people. And it's like I said, it's one of those things that we try to do as well as we can. And great people like yourself and former Blue Raiders, and it's always good to be able to tell their stories.
Yep.
I'm going to give you an easy out if the answer is I can't talk about it. Can you share some of the future plan of the permanent home?
Absolutely. No, we're excited. So, we've had a museum at Bridgestone Arena for about the last 25 years. Had a great partnership with the Nashville Predators. We had kind of been looking at a lease that was going to expire, and to be honest, they had let us stay there far longer than they should have. and I'm very appreciative that they did that. But we knew we were coming up on the end of a lease, and so when the Titans started talking about renovating current Nissan Stadium, of course, that conversation turns into a new stadium altogether. And so we went to our partners with the Titans. We said, hey, we don't need anything but a box. We need a space. And so we're excited that we're going to be at the new Nissan Stadium when it opens in 2027. The way we look at it is that 2025 is going to be our planning year. Our capital campaign, all those kinds of things. 2026 is construction, and then we're going to be open on day one. When that stadium opens and hosts its first event, the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame will be right there on the southwest side, and hopefully right next, adjacent to the Titans Pro Shop, and people will be able to pull right up to our door and come visit us. And so we won't be hard to find. I firmly believe that a new stadium like that will be a tourist attraction for 3 to 5 years anyway.
Absolutely.
People just wanting to see that. So we're excited about the foot traffic that will come and really how we're able to maybe serve as a bit of an anchor for the stadium, and the stadium serve as a bit of an anchor for us.
Some people may not know your voice at times will be heard in Titans radio.
Mm-hmm.
You've been involved in that forever.
Long time.
I've got a stupid memory of the Miracle play because I'm leaving the stadium to try to get to the Wild Horse, and I hear this roar as I'm leaving, and I turn back around enough to see the scoreboard and realize, okay, I've missed.
You missed one of the greatest plays ever.
There was nothing I could do about it. It was my job.
Sure.
It's what I was supposed to do. You were in a booth, I think.
That predated me. I've got a great Miracle
Really?
story.
Okay, well, let's hear it. Let's hear it. I didn't know that.
So I didn't start with Titans radio until 2001. So in the 1999 season, I was still in college at MTSU. And, of course, that's the Titans' first season at the stadium, and I had not been to a single game. And my father, who passed a couple years ago, I remember calling him, and I said, if I got us tickets to the Titans game, the playoff game, would you want to go? And he said, sure. And so this was back when you would go to Kroger, and you would stand in line for the Ticketmaster booth at Kroger.
Oh, yeah.
And so we go 2 weeks or whatever it is before we buy tickets at the game. We go to the game. So the first Titans game I ever attended was the Music City Miracle. And, of course, they kick the field goal, Titans go down, and everybody starts leaving. And I remember my dad, he looked straight at me, he says, well, do you want to go? And I said, we're not beating anybody out of here. I don't know why we'd leave at this point. And so we were up in the 300 levels. We watched it play out right to left, right in front of us. And first Titans game I ever attended. And
Really?
Since then, I've met 300, 400,000 people who claim they were there. It only holds 68,000. but it was, and I still have that memory to this day because I ended up doing the ball games later, the only game I ever went to with my dad. So, yeah, I kind of keep that one in my back pocket. It's pretty special.
So, for the record, it was a Saturday playoff game, kickoff 11:30 Nashville time. I am at that point a competitor to Titans radio, and I've decided that our pregame is going to begin at 7:30 in the morning because I knew that they were going on at 8.
That's right.
And so we did these promos. It was when I was at WTN. We did these promos. What was it? Something stupid like, "Were your first word on game day?"
No happy talk. No pablum.
We had a few of those as well. Do you remember we did a remote before a play? I want to say it was in 2008 or 9. We did a remote at Ferguson Bath Kitchen and Lighting Gallery. We were giving away 2 pairs of tickets for the playoff game the next day involving the Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
And, the traffic had nothing to do with us. That's great that you're there. Where are the tickets? And so the huge crowd is in there. And this one guy, we were saying, be creative. And I don't know if you remember, there was a guy that came in who wanted to read the Raven story. That's
right. He did quote the Raven, nevermore. But he'd rewritten it, right? He'd rewritten it with the Titans in mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he didn't win the tickets.
Nice.
A lot of effort for no reason.
Oh, my God. Is that who I think it is?
That is who you think
Holy cow. nice little Fu Manchu.
He's got the beard now. Yeah, it's a good look.
Any other memories that we can share?
Oh, goodness.
That we can.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you what, it's just, you
oversaw some radiothons.
We did.
Yeah.
The radiothon, you and I were talking earlier about the rally with the Predators. That was a day. I mean, that was
a crazy one.
That was an incredible day. There's so many good memories.
Okay, I'll try this one on you.
Okay.
We'll end with this. So, depending on whatever year it was, we would be radiothon-wise from about 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., and we did that over at Ferguson Bath Kitchen and Lighting Gallery. And I always had 2 or 3 people that would stir the pot. Nick Hunter, Rick Regan, the late, great James Harold Fike, Metro Parks and Recreations. And so they spent a lot of time like you do.
Good for them. I love them.
Unprofessional, trying to give me a hard time. Well, on this particular one, we're about an hour into it, and it's not working. We're not getting the phone calls, and they keep hammering at me. You need to give out the number. You need to give, and I'm tired of it. And finally, I just said, you know what? Screw it. You guys think you've got the answers. I'm going to go sit over in that bathtub, and you all take over. So Nick Hunter immediately grabs the mic and says, all of you who are tired of his whining, call in now and make a pledge.
And they
it like the thing damn near exploded.
That's awesome.
It was absolutely hilarious. But it did what we wanted, which was we raised a lot of money for Charles.
Nobody could give it to you better than Nick Hunter.
Nick Hunter.
Oh, my goodness.
And was a nightmare. Nick had the ability to just openly on the air say, your studio sucks. And then I'd get called in and said, well, you've got to get rid of him. Well, I can't get rid of him. But, he would put you in positions
He would.
that you couldn't make work.
Right. Indefensible.
If your station weren't so cheap, it was unbelievable, the stuff. Okay, there's a book to be written about this. Thank you.
So good to see you.
Thanks
for being here. Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Do your best.
Save it, George.
Brad Willis is the director of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. He's done a really good job. The profile of this has increased dramatically since he's taken over. We'll go to the break, and then we'll get back into that UNLV controversy that isn't anywhere close to going away. Stay tuned.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
If you're having plumbing issues, there's only one guy to call. That's Adam Whitehead. As a third-generation plumber, Adam was born and raised right here in Bellevue. Customers praise his professionalism, efficiency, and personability. Adam is known for his prompt response to emergencies and for providing high-quality repairs at reasonable prices. His expertise extends to various plumbing issues, including sink leaks, dishwasher installations, and outdoor water issues. Call him at 615-485-1534. That's 615-485-1534.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Welcome back to the Copacabana. Those of you who are watching us, you know what we mean. We're at the Hermitage, where the annual Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame golf tournament is going on. That, of course, is Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, yesterday we delved into the whole UNLV Matthew, help me, Billy, is it? Sluka.
Yeah.
And it feels like, take a number. This is just the first of a bunch of these that are going to happen.
I said it yesterday. It's all going to start. That's what happens when you bring the green into it, when you bring money into it, you bring promises into it that this guy's promised this, and maybe a donor don't send the check in or something like, and you can't, like, it's all going to start, and you're going to start seeing lawsuits, just like the kid from that was at Florida that went to Georgia. You're going to see lawsuits about breach of contract and things like that. I love the game of football. I love college football, but this puts a bad taste in your mouth, and I'm going to say it for the 1,000th time. Guys need something, but when you start talking about millions of dollars and $750,000 of this guy and $500,000 of that guy, you've taken amateurism out of the game, and you've made it professionalism, and you're going to see more of this stuff. This is just a warning, a shot over the bow. This is the first one, but you're going to see this more and more as the years go on.
So I sort of speculated about this off air yesterday. Well, actually on air yesterday. So there's no doubt that in that UNLV locker room right now, you have got a fractured 75, 80 kids, because there's probably half or more who are saying our quarterback is a traitor.
Yep.
You know that's going on.
Oh, absolutely. That's what they do. Players always know, and players feel that. They feel like they've been betrayed. They feel like that the guy is a traitor because they've gone to 3-0. Now, I know that Billy said yesterday that the whole team is talking about we're excited to see this other kid play, but are they truly? I mean, are they truly excited to see the other kid play? Because this guy's obviously,
until he doesn't deliver the goods.
Correct, and then it's going to be I don't know. It's a bad situation. I couldn't do it. I told y'all that yesterday. I don't know. But when you do something like that, you're not in it for the right reasons. That's what it feels like to me. Now, I know that the guy got promised, but he got promised by his offensive coordinator, not the head coach. So
Right.
if I'm getting promised by the offensive coordinator, I'm going to the head coach and saying, this is what he told me. This is what he promised me. Is that the case? And it's bad that it's got to that, but that's where it's at.
So I'm going to speculate on this, that assuming that he wasn't a complete outcast to begin with, that while half of that locker room is saying our quarterback's a traitor, there's another little pocket going, hold on a minute. I've heard this guy's story. He's my friend. The villain is X. And that, to me, is where the fracture starts to happen. I mean,
it becomes a trust issue.
Would I be wrong in believing that that's probably what's going on there?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure there's some guys that think like I do, and some guys think that way. It's a loss of trust is what it is, because if a coach did say that and they didn't come through, because that's what the college game has become now. I mean, it's become about money. It's become about these NIL stuff. And how can you trust a guy if the guy for one told you that he was going to give you this and then he never came through? I don't know. It's just a trust issue to me. I'm glad that I played in the times that I played. There was ways around it. Obviously, there were times where you went out to a restaurant and the guy knew who you were and he paid for your meal. I mean, that stuff happened. And
the $100 handshake.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been going on forever. Betting stuff, I talk about all the time. Betting stuff has been going on since sports began. Even in locker rooms, that stuff happens. But I don't know. It's such a pure game, and right now this seems
doesn't feel very pure.
Yeah, it seems like it's becoming slimy, and that's what happens when money gets involved.
Well, if you're Barry Odom, is there any part of you going to that assistant coach and saying, what were you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going right to him after the kid tells me that.
What did you say to him? Because that seems to be the disconnect. I mean, there's a couple different disconnects here, it sounds like. But, I mean, that's who they said told him he would be paid $100,000.
Okay, here's a point that a friend of mine made last night that's a pretty good one. So here's Barry Odom, a year and a half in, and he's got UNLV rolling way past anything that UNLV football had been known for. UNLV football used to be just an afterthought to the fact that they had a national championship caliber hoops team.
Correct.
So now they're 3-0. The only group of 5 that looks to be in better shape is Boise. UNLV would probably be next on the list. But I'm assuming that this kid made one last attempt to get his $100,000, and Barry Odom stood up and said, "You're not getting a dime." Now, he must feel very certain of his position with a 3-0 football team that could go to really good heights to give that up, right?
Because he was a big part of their wins.
Right.
I mean, he was running the football a lot, and maybe this can galvanize the team, but he was a big part of the team.
Maybe it doesn't galvanize him either. I mean, he
could split it right down the middle.
Absolutely.
Right.
I hope this other kid comes in and he plays well. They're running football team, as Billy talked about yesterday. So,
do they play this week?
Fresno State.
I'll say this: if I'm Vegas,
first Mountain West game of the season.
If I'm Vegas, not UNLV, but Vegas, as in, bookmakers, I take that game off the thing, because how do you know what's coming?
That's true.
I think you either get a galvanized 100% behind this guy, or a fractured, group of players that think they've been screwed over because they've got information that an assistant coach has lied.
I find it hard to believe everyone disliked Sluka on the team. I mean, there's over 100 guys on these football teams. This feels shaky.
This
fishy.
feels like there's a mixed bag.
Right.
So, under the category, Kelly, of where are we in college football, because I think a lot of us feel this way. We love Saturday. Saturday is great to sit there and go, oh my goodness, we got a Michigan USC game, which by the way
really
drew last week's highest college football number.
Oh yeah.
Then you got Tennessee, Oklahoma. I mean, we've got some great matchups going on. It's almost like fans are being forced to say, I love the product, but I do not want to hear any more about how this sausage is made.
Well, and another thing with what Tennessee did with upping the ticket prices, they're going to pay. They're going to make the taxpayer. They're going to make the fan pay for this NIL stuff. And I just wondered how long that would take, because they talked about sponsors. Well, there's only so many times you can go to a sponsor and say, "Hey, I need this amount of money," and they write you a check. There's only so many times. So that's going to start happening over and over again too, just like Tennessee did. They're going to start upping the prices, and they're going to say, "Hey, fund our NIL deal." And I'm just not sure how that's going to go, but that's the way it's going to be.
Why was Brad Hopkins misbehaving?
I don't know. That's just B. That's B Hop.
It's good to see him though. Here's the thing, and you tell me if you disagree with this. Right now, Tennessee, they've got the leverage to be able to be the first to come out and say, we're doing this. They're winning huge. The future next 2 or 3 years sure looks like they're going to do a lot of winning.
Correct.
But the minute they don't do winning,
what's going to happen with all
people
that?
will say, you can take your surcharge and shove it.
That's exactly right. It all boils down to winning, George. If you're giving money, you want to see, and if you're paying those astronomical prices for tickets now, because when you go to, I don't see how people go to games anymore. You got a hot dog and a hamburger costs a crazy amount of money. You get beverages. When you take a family of 4 to a game, you're probably spending, how much you spending? $300 or $400?
Yeah.
At least. I mean, that's
unless
crazy.
you go the cheap route.
Which you try to sneak in.
Well, no, I've nothing.
But you're right. The other side is that fans, they'll do it.
Right now they will, but
they'll do it if they
stop winning. If they stop winning, they're going to be disgruntled. But will they say we're not going to buy the tickets? Because I had one of my neighbors that's a UT guy that he was thinking he's had his same seats for like 30 years, and he actually called his son and said, "Do you still want those?" Because he was going to quit it, and he said, "Yeah, I want them." So he did it again. But like, you've got people saying that, like, what are we doing this for?
Yeah. The thing is, you talk about winning. Winning's going to be the most important thing at Auburn. Hugh Freeze, if he keeps losing like this, I don't care who he is. He is gone. Same with, you're seeing it with Billy Napier right now. You're going to see a lot of one-year coaches because the schools can't afford what they're going to lose because you have to win. So,
Billy, if you looked Saturday in that Auburn game, a couple of times when they showed the upper deck, and Auburn has unbelievable support. Mm-hmm. That is a big old stadium. Yes. There were a couple of little pockets of empties in the corners of the upper deck, and you've seen it when LSU struggled under Ed Orgeron. After, I guess it was before they won the national title, they were starting to show some pockets of this. What schools are finding is you can give us all the surcharges you want, but you damn well better win.
Right.
Better win. And it's been hard
and
for coaches. Like in today's world, even without the NIL a couple of years ago, coaches you don't have at these big programs, you didn't have much time. But now it's going to be even worse.
Right.
Like, you're not going to have it's instant success. If you don't come in and turn a team around, like say a team that maybe wins 4 games with the transfer portal and NIL, if they're getting NIL money and they get a lot of transfers in, these people are going to have no patience. You're going to come in there, and if you don't turn us around in 2 years, which Nick Saban said it a couple of weeks ago, I think it was the first week of the season, talked about, I hope they give Billy Napier, and it was somebody else. He said, folks, it takes 3 years at least, and sometimes it takes 4 to implement your system and implement your culture.
That's out the window.
It's gone. Yeah. It's absolutely gone because it's instant success, and if you don't bring it to us, we'll go get somebody else.
Speaking of going to get somebody else, we'll go to the break. And then we'll talk about America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. They may be America's team, but they can't stop the run.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Okay, we are back for a final segment before we get to Plaster Bet of the Day. Tonight's a big night in the Dallas Cowboy world. They go on the road to take on the Giants, and let's be honest, you talk about taking on some water. Over the last 2 weeks, they have taken on a ton of water, and the bottom line is they can't stop anybody on the run. Their run defense is pathetic. And you really wonder where this is going. McCarthy is coaching without a future contract, has no idea what his future is. There are rumors swirling all over the place that Jerry will bring in Bill Belichick. Big poll that came out earlier this week that, more than 3 out of every 4 Dallas fans who participated blame Jerry as the primary source of the problems. Billy, I really wonder, are they going to get it together, or are they just simply going to implode?
I've wondered the same thing. Offensively, they'll be fine. I think they'll be able to put up points, but their run defense is pitiful.
Yeah.
They can't stop anybody on the ground, that defense was fine. I didn't see these issues last year.
Well, you did in the playoff game.
In the playoffs, yeah. But, they lost. I guess they lost a lot of guys. But, for the Cowboys fans, I'm not excited about anything this year if I'm a Cowboy fan.
You need to go play golf and get out of here. You're either in or you're out, but you cannot be halfway.
I agree with Billy. I'm out on the Cowboys.
That's fine.
Shoot him straight.
The quicker we get him out, the better. No, I'm just kidding. We've had a lot of fun here today, but I do wonder tonight what we're going to get, because you talk about turmoil
Giants,
in a locker room.
And a team that is kind of built off the run, the Giants, I know they lost Saquon Barkley, but they're still built on the run game, and they've got a decent offensive line. If they run it all over the Cowboys tonight, the Cowboy fans are going to be coming for Jerry Jones and forcing him to make some decisions.
The other thing is the Giants, and I'm not sure I know quite where to put the, what does this mean? They sacked Deshaun Watson constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Deshaun Watson doesn't look like even a shadow of himself from years gone by.
Yeah.
I don't see the electric athlete that I used to see in Houston. But, he got sacked close to 10 times in that game. I don't have the number, but I watched a lot of it, and it was scary.
Yeah, and his offensive line, you got trenches problems. Defensive line, Cowboys aren't physical, and the offensive line, like you said. So it feels like it's starting to crumble.
It does.
And so how do you fix it? You talked about Jerry Jones a couple days ago. It just feels like there's not many answers left,
Well, under the category of what do they need, the first thing, they've got a Thursday night game against an opponent they should be better than.
Right.
Okay. The other thing is they get a mini bye, which creates a weekend for their players to get out of town and get away from all of this. That's the good news if they win. If they lose, multiply all of what you heard last Sunday by whatever.
Right. And the Cowboy fans, I feel like they're kind of just accepting it. They're not, they're not thrilled, of course, right now. And they're, you're waiting to the playoffs for this team to implode, even if they even make the playoffs this year.
I wonder. I just think that there is a point where if they're not able to get a handle on this, that something's going to go haywire. Because there's their fishbowl is probably bigger than anybody's in pro football. Now, maybe the Jets under Aaron Rodgers might be close, but the Cowboys have got to be at the top 1, 2, or 3 of fishbowl. And so they never get a moment's peace. The ESPN show, Get Up. Yeah. That's all they talk about. If the Cowboys didn't exist, that show might not exist.
Right.
So, what do you do?
It doesn't seem like, is it as much of an attraction for players to want to play out there? Derrick Henry was a guy we talked about potentially being a Cowboy. Did he want to be a Dallas Cowboy?
Well, supposedly Jerry didn't want him, which at the moment
is ridiculous.
Looks stupid.
It really does.
I mean, Derrick Henry, from what I
ran
understand,
all
was
over them.
was training in Dallas. I mean, there wasn't even, we need to fly you in to talk about it. You're across town in a cab ride. And the Cowboy fans are pissed off. They didn't do anything to improve themselves. They, for whatever reason, carry these negotiations to the last minute.
Yeah, why do they always do that?
Well, it's Jerry, and I don't get it.
Well, Cowboys have an ownership problem.
They do. And the
just
problem
like
is,
we've talked about with the Titans,
Well, the problem is nobody can do anything about it. He's in control. He's certainly not going to sell. Even at this age, it appears that this is going to be a family passed down kind of thing. And so
maybe he accepts it and passes it down as the only.
Yeah.
But even then, does anything change?
I don't know, but I do believe one thing Kelly put out there earlier this week. In the 90s, before you were born, the Cowboys dominated. It was Super Bowl after Super Bowl. 2 under Jerry Johnson and even 1 under Barry Switzer. Jimmy Johnson. Did I say Jerry?
You said Jerry Johnson.
Okay. So Jimmy had laid such a foundation. The Herschel Walker trade, which was an 11-for-1, gave the Cowboys all these draft picks. And to their credit, they hit big on virtually all of them. So Jerry Jones, I believe, thought, we're just going to keep this rolling.
Mm-hmm.
It will go on and on and on and on. Well, guess what? It didn't.
No.
And now somebody's paying the price. And my guess is it'll start with Mike McCarthy. I don't doubt that he'll offer the job to Belichick. I'm not sure Belichick is going to want it.
I wouldn't want to work under Jerry Jones.
I really wonder if, depending on when it happens, if Bill Belichick doesn't say, I can get another offer, I'm going to wait it out. Anyway, big game tonight. It's one it feels like the Cowboys have to win if they're going to regain some of whatever it is they've been losing. Anyway, we'll go to the break and then give you plaster bet of the day. But hopes to run this evening.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
If you're having plumbing issues, there's only one guy to call. That's Adam Whitehead. As a third-generation plumber, Adam was born and raised right here in Bellevue. Customers praise his professionalism, efficiency, and personability. Adam is known for his prompt response to emergencies and for providing high-quality repairs at reasonable prices. His expertise extends to various plumbing issues, including sink leaks, dishwasher installations, and outdoor water issues. Call him at 615-485-1534. That's 615-485-1534.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Final segment on a Thursday, broadcasting live from Hermitage Golf Course here for the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame Golf Tournament, brought to you by the Tennessee Lottery. George, big game tonight, Cowboys and Giants. And injury law, do not have the results from last. I mean, there wasn't a game last night. It ended up. Betting.
Actually, didn't I? They got good. They got clobbered.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to go New York plus the 6. There's a level of turn in Dallas. Their run defense are technical standpoint, but I know they're getting pushed around, and the Giants will try early to see if they can make hay like the last two teams have done against Dallas, where they lost 2 games in a row at home and kind of got boat raced. New Orleans boat raced them. Baltimore beat them. Baltimore had them up like 25 at one point, and then Dallas rallied. So I'm going to go the Giants tonight on the road and see what happens on that. I want to throw out a couple of things before we get out of here today. It looks like the rain is just starting in the Nashville area, right around 6 p.m. And from that point on, Lord only knows when it ends. It looks like it's virtually 100% chance tomorrow, a solid chance on Saturday. First of all, stay safe, whatever we end up getting, because I suspect there'll be some high winds that go along with this. The other thing is, if you're a high school football fan, it's very possible, and you may not know it, that your team is playing in an hour, because a lot of the games are being moved to Thursday night to avoid the worst of this on Friday night. So check in on all that stuff, and we'll see what goes on.
Yeah, stay safe, and there could be some games Saturday as well. But I know for sure there will definitely be some games on Saturday. But we'll get into that tomorrow with George Robinson. He'll have all the updates on all the games that have been switched, and we'll have a big Football Friday show.
Oh yeah, it'll be a wet Football Friday.
Yeah,
around the Southeast, it'll be a wet Football Friday as well. Thanks to the folks with the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, Brad Willis, great hospitality. Also thanks to the staff out here at Hermitage Golf Course, because they did yeoman's work to see to it that we would have this set up on short notice. Wi-Fi can be an issue out here, and they cleaned up our mess like that, and we are very grateful. So, see you tomorrow. Until then, stay dry. We'll talk to you on Friday.